Okay, what's happening, everybody? Um, Gooniac here, looking a little scruffy and whatever. Um, gonna do a little bit of a, I don't know if I'd say abbreviated show, but it is gonna be a little shorter because I don't want to be on here forever. I've got stuff to do to get prepped for work tomorrow. But I noticed over the last couple flying sessions that my Eflite 90mm Hawk has been getting funky sounding, so it's a little buzzy. I don't know if it's because of me jamming forward and reverse or if I hit something or whatever, but I have the fan out of the plane. I'm going to pull it apart and look, see if we can figure out what's going on, get it balanced. Got that set up, but what I'm going to do right now is the usual. Um, First, I'm going to call out all the people that I see in here because it looks like I'm the only guy going today, which is a surprise. But I'm going to call out the people that started chatting with me first because people started chatting pretty early. Mike SSI was number one, of course. Big Chris was number two. Then Mr. EQRC came on. Paul Ballard, Snow Valley Park. Spencer Keith showed up. Um, John Shaw, JSRC Hobbies is there. Shadow Ops, Mr. Mike Bird from across the pond. What's up, my friend? Andy Cho, fellow Livermore Flying Electrons Club member. Mr. George Watts, who happens to be a subscriber and whatever you call it, member to my channel. There we go. I still got to do more stuff to get more people in there. Let's see. I think that fits Spencer Keith. There's Spencer Keith there. What's happening, dude? Lyndon Stewart from down in South America. What's up, my friend? Victor RC Jets from Southern California. As you can see, I'm a little bit darker than normal because I did have some time out in the sun over the weekend. Both days. I flew both days. Craig Beaven, what's up? Who else? I think I may have gotten everyone. Jeff in Lower Alabama, I see you. What's happening? Jeff in LA. Paul Ballard, I think I called you out already, but what's up? Tim Justins. Paul McNeil. CJ Salinas, what's up? So yeah, so that's it. So let me do the usuals. We're gonna start off with some questions. If you guys got any, let me know. Because I tend to forget to answer questions. But if you guys got questions, now's the time to ask because then I'm going to get started, get into the balancing. I have it set up. I haven't plugged anything in, so I'll basically go over the whole thing with you, so you guys can see how I do it. I have not had this fan open. This is a new fan with the Viper. So this will be new. But if you guys got questions, now's the time to ask. I'm also going to start a new Q&A thing too, or if you guys have access to a headset and a camera. If you want to ask a question, I'm tempted to start having people pop on briefly in this StreamYard stream so that you guys can ask questions that way instead of then you can ask and then I can answer. I'm thinking about doing that, but that would require you guys giving me email addresses and other stuff so that I could send you the info so that I could do that. But that's just another possibility to get questions answered. Shadow Ops, you got jokes today, dude. I saw what you said earlier about the about what I said, not wanting to live forever. I remember the song. But anyway, ask some questions. Now's your time. If you don't have any questions, I'm gonna jump right into the burner. I mean, not burn it. Jump right into the balance. So give you guys a couple minutes to possibly throw something together. Don't forget to hit a thumbs up if you like the stuff that I do here. one thing that I want to make clear is that my number one reason for doing these live streams is so that I can help share some of the knowledge that I have with you guys. I've been doing this a long time. I have picked up a little bit on it since I've been doing it. I see there's a question. But I want to share knowledge and help people. It ain't about affiliate links. It ain't about trying to sell things. I do make burners, but I'm not trying to sell those here on this unless it's a show dedicated to that. I'm mainly here trying to help people out. So Tim Jusins, he's got a question. I'm going to put it up there. Just bought a new in the box Avanti S, older one with the Outrunner motor. What's a good upgrade for an in-runner? Good question. The Outrunner is good as far as power goes. It's bad as far as draw goes. It will draw quite a bit. So if you want a good upgrade, hey, there's Mr. Super Dingus. If you want a good upgrade, just a simple upgrade, the 9-blade Inrunner from Freewing. That just drops right in, and that will be a significant increase. Or you can even, I don't know if they still sell the 1857 12-blade Inrunner, but either one of those would be good. Putting just an Inrunner itself is a jump up in efficiency and in performance. You'll get more RPMs, and you'll get more flight time with an Inrunner as opposed to an Outrunner. Outrunners are good, but they're not ideal. So, good question. So let's see what's next. Lionel Randall, that's a good one too. So I plan on getting the Arrows F15. I had it, but I sold it to somebody that needed it. But I'm going to get one, and I am going to do an in-runner upgrade. And when I get to that point, I'll let you guys know. But I'm going to be doing some in-runners, and I'm going to try to get a manufacturer to make some 64 millimeter in-runners as opposed to the typical obnoxious Outrunner, which is, it works, but an in-runner is much better. So that's what I plan to do eventually. So Paul McNeil, if you are interested in a fiery booty for my plane, for one of my fire booties for one of your planes, let me know what you have, and I'll let you know what I can put it in. I'm going to type my email in the chat. Send me an email and we can work that out. But the way that I do it, I don't make my burner for Outrunners unless they're the Freewing type that has a cone to cover it, and it's different, just made different. Yeah, EQ, I get it, and that's one of the reasons why I plan on, if I'll have a Q&A session, or if people have questions, I'll have you put your email in there. I'll send you a link. You can ask me direct, and then we can go from there. But we'll get there eventually. But yeah, Paul McNeil, I just put my email in the comments, so send me an email there. So I'm going to scroll through. Oh, Paul McNeil's got another one. Okay, so you did say something. Having Falcon F16. Oh, okay. Which one is it? Is it the Paul McNeil? Yeah, Paul, send me an email. That's the easiest way to do it. If it's the FMS 70 millimeter, yeah, we can work it out. But send me an email. So let me see what else. There's my email there. It's in there. So let's see what else. Big Chris, I'm working on it. Hold on a second. I got to turn the volume down. Hold on. Okay, sorry, I was echoing over there on the balance cam and I didn't want to hear it. So, can I make them for the 64 millimeter f22? I'm working on that. If I can get this in runner to work, then we'll have options. We'll get there, but not yet. We'll see. And let's see. EQ, what are you asking? Can you? Can you bore it out and put 70 millimeter in the F15? Which F15 are you talking about? The free wing? I mean the Eflite F15 or the FMS? Put that in the chat and I'll get back to you. Snow Valley's got a good one here. Can you show the difference between an in runner and out runner? Total noob here on EDS. I have a feeling it's which side of the fan it is or something. No. Do I have an in runner and out runner here? I do, but I can't pull them all out at the moment. An in runner is basically a motor where the casing on the outside doesn't move. Everything happens on the inside. That's why they say in runner, because it's inside and it spins. An out runner has, I see your answer, EQ, I'll get back to you. An out runner has a bell on the outside that spins. It goes around the magnet instead of the magnet going around it. So that works a little different, has more torque, but it's also not capable of getting to such high RPMs. So yes, they work. Manufacturers use outrunners a lot. Why? Because they're cheap and they're easy. Doesn't mean that they're actually okay or work good for the application. Outrunners work great for props. They work okay for EDFs, but only okay. If you take, like, I'll just use an example. If you use the 70 millimeter outrunner for the free wing that free wing makes, and then you take that same one that has a 2210 in runner, which is a little bit lower kV. The outrunner is 2300. The in runner is 2210. The outrunner will actually pull more amps than the in runner, but spin slower RPMs. So it's just a matter of efficiency and just what works better. The in runners work much better for EDFs. People are going to argue and say, if it's at certain kV, they should all be the same, but they're not. It's not going to work that way. The in runners will always have more efficient numbers, and they will spin faster, usually with lower kV. It's just they're better suited to in runners. So good question. And I guess I can do a show on that one of these days. EQ. I don't know if there is enough room in the Arrows RC plane to put 70s in. I don't know. I haven't really taken a look to see how much meat's in there. But like I said, I'm just going to take the outrunners that are there, pull the outrunner motors out. I'll use the same fan, but I'm going to put a different motor in to get it to work. I'm glad it could help Snow Valley, and eventually I will do a show showing that. And yeah, so Shadow Ops is right. So, I mean, if you guys know anything about cars, this is the way to put it. If you need something, okay, so motorcycle. You could even say a two-stroke motorcycle. But with motorcycles, they have a really light weight and really high horsepower per weight. So they will spin. Most high-end motorcycles have a red line of like 13,000 RPM, but they don't have much torque because they don't need it, because they're not moving around a whole lot of weight. But they got crazy RPM, so they'll have a high horsepower number but kind of a lower torque number. Works the same for inrunners and outrunners. Now with the V8, the V8 is going to have a whole lot of torque, but unless it's a certain type of V8, it's only going to spin a certain amount of RPMs to get, it makes a lot of horsepower and it makes a lot of torque, but it's not going to make a whole lot of RPMs. So you want to have, in an EDF is going to be more like what a motorcycle is, and the in-runner will work better in that, whereas a regular propeller plane would be more like the V8 or a bigger car that needs more torque. That makes any sense. That's the way that I see it. Or if you want to talk nitro, if you know anything about nitro planes or nitro anything, 2-stroke, 4-stroke. EDFs are better as 2 strokes. Yeah, you could probably do it as a 4-stroke, but you'd have to change things around. 2 strokes would be better. Yeah, Tim Justin's, what do they call it, flat plane V8s, like high the V8s that they use in Formula One or in F1 or in IndyCar. Those are V8s too, but they rev higher because they're shorter stroke. Anyway, I don't want to get too technical because people may not understand what we're talking about. But yeah, short stroke versus long stroke. Yes. EDFs do better with higher RPMs because they're shrouded, and then they're able to focus the air better than with the prop. When you start hearing a prop make a whole bunch of noise and scream, that's when it starting to get inefficient. It's going supersonic, which is not good. EDFs will never do that. When you hear a noisy EDF, it's actually an inefficient EDF. That's kind of why I like the X-Flies, because they're super quiet. Like this weekend, I took the X-Fly unit out of my crashed F-104, and Andy needed a unit for his F-35, so we did a trade for that. He put that in his F-35. Super silent, almost silent. You could barely hear the thing, but it was moving faster than it ever had. Why? Because the design is better. So even though it's spinning crazy high RPMs, you barely hear anything because it's working the way that it should. So yeah. So anyway. So good questions, guys. I like that. Jelonius, what's happening? So yeah, guys, I got to fly 2 different places this weekend. I have to put those videos up. I'll do that. I'll start uploading those later today. Well, it is today now. So yeah, RC Roland, you're right. The Nitro 2 strokes are like a high KV motor. High KV in-runner. And the Nitro 4 strokes are like a low KV outrunner. Just, you know. So anyway. What's up, Wild Bill? What's up, Jono? So yeah, so I'm gonna go get set up for these are good questions, guys. If you guys have anything else, I don't want to go forever, so I'm gonna switch over to the balance cam. It's gonna take me a few minutes to do that. Okay, so I will be setting up the other cam, so give me just a second, and let me do that. I forgot to put that there too, guys. So scroll that at the bottom of the screen. I forgot to do that. But anyway, I'm going to go set up the balance cam, so it'll take me probably about a minute, but we will get there. So I'm going to go dark for a few seconds, but it will be up on the screen. Don't go away. Be right back. All right, guys, so I am using a different setup here. I need you to let me know if you can hear me, because I'm using a different mic. So I need you guys to let me know if you can hear me. I have to look in the chat here. Is it really quiet or just a little quiet? Because if it is quiet, then I'll grab the other mic. I'll have to grab the other mic. That's just all there is to it. I'll grab the other mic. I'll have to get the other mic. That's just all there is to it. I'll grab that. I'll hold it near me so you can hear. Yeah, you'll be able to hear. So let me turn that off. Okay, hold on. We'll get it set up. Can you guys hear me? What about now? I don't want to put it on the table because then it'll be crazy loud. Okay, so if that's clear, then I'll use that. Hold on a sec. Let me see if I can get closer to this. Give me just a second, guys. I'm going to do one more setup thing. Then I can have the headphones on. Give me a second. All right, it's going to get a little bumpy because I'm going to be bumping the camera, but I do have the headphones on my head. I've got my tablet here so I can do typing. So the quality may not be that great on the camera, and I don't understand why it wouldn't be, but it's working. So okay, so I've got everything working as it should be now. See the chat. So now let's get started with the setup. So camera might bounce around a couple times, and I apologize for that, but we've got to get some things set up. So let's that up a little bit. Sorry for the weirdness I tried to set up ahead of time, but it didn't work. All right. So there we go. Okay, so this is the fan from the new Viper. What I'm noticing is that if you look inside here, I don't know if you can see that with the light the way it is. Fucking, excuse my French, but whatever. This thing's driving me nuts. It's not staying in. All right, so if you look in here, you can see that it's been rubbing. And I don't know if it's been rubbing because of the motor getting hot and it bending, or if the I don't see any nicks on the blades. The blades all look okay, but I do see that it's been rubbing, and I don't know why it would be. It's been rubbing down here. That could be because it's pinched, or I don't know. So what we're going to do is go through and try to figure that out. I'm going to open this thing up. I got to get a marker. That's the one thing I didn't bring over here was a marker. I'm checking up on the chat. So Craig Beaven. Yes, if you change the timing. Depends on what the in runner requires, but almost all in runners that are 4-pole require anywhere from 4 to 9 degrees timing. 5 to 7 is usually the best. And I think with the Eflite, with that ESC, you can set it to 7. So I've got to grab a marker. So let me grab that. It's one thing I forgot. Sorry for all the racket, but I'm doing kind of a little bit of on the fly here. So I have to get a marker. Since I'm going to be disassembling this thing, I want to have a reference point to start. Yes, I'm going to balance it, but I do want to have a place to where I see where I pulled it apart. So first things first, let's get this thing apart. Then I'll go through my whole spiel of what it is that I do. Wow, this is tight. And it's sharp, sheesh. But it is coming off, so we're good. I think they put Loctite in there because that was pretty hard to get off. It's barely moving, but it is coming out. Feels like there's Loctite. Wow. Okay, so you can hear it popping. That means that it's, oh, sheesh. Please come off. I guess I should have looked at that first, huh? Is there a hole on the side? Yes, there's a hole on the side. Okay. So there's a hole there, which they use for the adapter. There's a hole there. You need that for the screw, for the Allen screw. I should have thought about this a little more, because one thing I haven't tried to do is pull these things apart yet. The spinner should pop out, but it's not. So I got the screw out. Screw is loose. Will the rest of it come out? Nope. If you know, another thing you notice here is that this is this housing. There's still room in there, so you could actually put a bigger motor. And this is actually the outrunner housing because it has the clips for the little cone that goes over. So, that's interesting. Now, this is the thing I should have prepped. I should have taken the time to figure this out before. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this cone off. They did a pretty good job of putting that on tight. So whether or not we can actually get, oh, there's a screw. Okay, that's good. But it's deep down in there. Whatever Loctite they used must have seeped, because I cannot get this thing off. Well, guys, we might have to balance a different fan. The good news is, even though I might be hearing some noise, it's not coming apart. So even though I made that mark, it hasn't moved. So I guess, oh sheesh, I don't like the fact I can't get it apart. I'll have to do that another time. But if you guys want to see a fan get balanced, I'll just grab another one. Let's put all this stuff back in there. Yep, so it's going back in. I'm just going to put it back in. And then I'll tighten it down, and then I'll run it up so you can hear the noise that I've been talking about. And then I'll actually get one of the fans that I know is balanced, or one that needs to be balanced. I'll balance it, and then you'll be able to hear the difference. So, okay, that's what happens when you do things impromptu. So let me go over a couple things with this motor, though, which is pretty cool that they did. This new motor, it says Spectrum, it's really FMS. It's an FMS motor. They took a 36 millimeter motor and put inside the housing, which actually works pretty good. 40 millimeters works good too. I have that in another plane. But they have these vents and then a little fan built in there. It's actual fan blades. You can see them move. So that's good. That helps keep the thing cool. You can see where it's been blowing air through. So that's actually kind of cool. Worked pretty good. So since we can't pull this apart, I'm going to run it up at least so you can hear what it sounds like and see why it is that I think it's been buzzy. And it could just be that the thing was loose. I don't know. So I've got to connect it to my ESC. Make sure it's going the right direction. So I use this is an old ESC. This is a Heads Up RC 100 amp that I had in another plane that crashed. But I power it with the UVDC because this is a opto. So we're going to see if this is going the right direction. Actually, it sounds really good. So something else is going on, because this fan sounds perfect. It's a little buzzy. So what I do, I feel for vibration. If I can't feel vibration, I'll put it on the table, and that amplifies any vibrations. So if there's any vibration at all, I don't know if you guys can hear the difference. This is off the table. That's on the table. It's a slight buzz, just a very slight buzz. Enough to, if it touches the plane, it's going to be amplified. So I'd like to balance that out, but I can't because I can't get this thing disassembled. So what I'll do, let me go find another, EDF unit that might be a little out of balance, or find one that is balanced that I can take the weight off of so that you can hear. So give me just a second. I'll be back, guys. All right, so I have my free wing 80 millimeter 9 blade. This one's been balanced from the factory. So what I'll do is I'll pull this thing apart. I have to get my hex set. Oh, I have it right here. Let's hope it's the right size, or do I need to go up? Need to go up. Okay, so let me get the tools that I need for that, and then I will pull that apart. Actually, that's already powered up. So let's plug that in, see what it sounds like. This was in my MiG-21. No, this wasn't in any of my planes. I haven't powered this one at all. So yep, got it right on the first try. All right. This one's a little buzzy too, just barely. So what I'm going to do, I'll make my own mark. Actually, it's got a mark. It's got one there and one here. So let me go get the stuff that I need. Oh, I'll check up on the chat here in a minute too. Hold on a second. Again, sorry for all the noise, but this is an impromptu sort of thing. But let's see if we can get this thing apart. But I'm going to make my own marks. They have marks on here now. There's one there. And there's one here. This is what they've done. I haven't touched this fan yet. So I'm going to make a mark with theirs. So this is where they put their mark. I'm going to line that up with this right here. Because they did something else, but whatever. I'm going to do it my way. This is where they have it balanced on theirs. So I'm going to pull it apart. See what's inside. It's a little loose too. Should have been tighter than that. So I put together a MiG-29 burner today. And what I did, I use this motor to check. So let's look inside. There's nothing in there, so it's just, they're just going off of, all right, so that's where it goes. So that's where they have it balanced. I'm going to move this to the next one. And let's see what it does. Okay. So I unplugged it. And I'm purposely trying to get this thing to go out of balance so you guys can hear what it is that I'm talking about when I say something's out of balance. All right, so this had a little bit of a buzz, just barely noticeable. I don't know if you guys could even hear it. But it's for sure buzzy now. So, okay, so that's good. So I'm going to make it buzz more. Let's just do something totally different. I'm going to move a whole bunch away from where I started. Let's see if we can get this thing to make noise. What's up, Kenny? So I'm going to take a pause so I can check out the chat. I gotta move up. Trying to check the chat so you can hear. Okay, very quiet. So are you guys hearing me okay now? That's the most important thing because I want to make sure you can. Nate, we'll get you on another time to talk about your racer. Don't worry. I wanted to do this because I want people to be able to hear and see what I'm doing. Okay, cool. So glad to hear it. All right. So just to recap, this is where they had it balanced, and that line was lined up here when it was originally balanced. You may not be able to see it perfectly, but that's where it was balanced according to the factory. I know I can get it better because there's a little bit of a buzz. So I purposely moved it over here. And let's see if it... Yeah. So I don't know if you can hear the difference. Hear it running off the table. And then I've got it on the table. You can hear the buzz. I don't know if you guys could hear that, but it's buzzing. So that means it's out. Now, technically, you guys should be wearing safety gloves. You should also have on safety glasses. I've done this a whole bunch of times, and I'm doing it in a way that I'm comfortable with. So I'm not doing that, but the safest way to do it is to use gloves and safety glasses. And you also don't need to run this up high to get figure out if it's balanced or not. So I did that so you could hear the thing out of balance. So we know that this is where it was balanced, okay? So this is a 9-blade fan. So basically we've got anywhere between here and these 9 blades to balance the fan. When I get to a blade that sounds good, I'll usually start moving it in little increments to see if I can fine tune it that way. A lot of times that's all you need for these fans. That's all you need to do. Just moving the spinner. You use that reference point, you use this point on the spinner, you move it around. Sometimes that's all it takes to get these things balanced. This has no weight in there. So I think that's what they must have done to get this thing balanced. So they like the way that sounded. So I'm going to go back 1 and see if that helps. And if it does, then I'll start going in between. And then another step that I'm not going to do today, you need to Loctite things too. But that actually sounds worse. Hear the buzz? That sounds worse. You can feel it. Okay, so Let's go back to where they had it. Let's run it up. It actually sounds okay, but it's still buzzy. So let's just do what we were doing. So I already found two. Those two didn't work. Let's go to the third one. See how that third one works. Still got a buzz. All right. So that's not the kind of buzz you want. If you're having a little drink and you got a buzz, that's good, but not this kind of buzz. So let's get that back on there. I'll try to keep up with the chat, guys, but I'm not necessarily going to be able to do that. Yeah, Jono, don't attempt to track. So I don't know if you guys can hear that buzz. Still not good, still buzzing. So I'm going to go to the next blade. And if those don't help, I'll go back to where we started, and then I'll start using weight. Yeah, that's worse. Okay. Keep on going. So we've made it halfway around. So got to keep going until we get back to the start. There. Ooh, that sounds good. We're back on the right side. Okay, so that's starting to sound good. So I'll make a little mark there because that one sounded okay. So I might have to have a couple that sound okay because we're almost back to the start. This is where we are now. So I know that one wasn't good, but you never know. Sometimes a couple back end up being good. So that one's 2 away from where we started. So let's go back. That actually sounds really good. Very little noise. So that's good. We'll make another mark. So there's 2 good marks. Those 2. So what I'll do, once I figure out the ones that sound good, I'll alternate between all of those and figure out which one is the best. And then that's the one where we start to add weight. Yeah, still a little bit of buzz, not much, but a little bit. Let's go back. That's the one I knew made noise. So let's see what happens here. It should be buzzy. Yep, it is. Okay. So we've got our 3 reference points. So let's alternate between this one, and that one. Let's go back to the first one. That's actually worse than the other 2. So that one's off the mark. That's not one of the good ones. These 2 are good ones. We're going to go back there. Let's check out the chat. I'm trying to keep up with the chat, guys. Ooh, yeah. That's better. And then let's go back to that one, see. And if not, then we'll go in between. That's the least of the 2, so let's do some fine tunage. So I might go a little back that way. See if that works. Nope. So let's go back a little forward. See if that helps. Nope. Sounds worse. Let's go back to that one. That sounds good, but let's move a little in between and see what happens, because I know going the other way didn't work. So let's go a little there. See how that works. Nope. Okay, so the good spot is this one. Okay, so all the other spots that we had no longer work. So this little pink bottle here, this is alcohol. This is 90% alcohol. I need to find my paper towel. I'm going to wipe off all of the other marks. Spray alcohol here. I'm going to wipe off all the other marks. That one's off. That one's off. And then this is the right fan blade. So this one gets all the ink. The ink does not throw balance off, just so you know. But that's the way I know this is the fan blade. I'm gonna make that more defined. Okay, let that dry. I could even run it up a little bit to dry it. All right, get that off. All right, so that's good. Now, this is the part that requires a little bit more work. Got to unplug the fan since I'm going to be doing some stuff. So what I do, this has been my tried and true method that has worked really well. All different types of fans. Is this the only way to do it? No. Is this one of the simplest ways to do it? Yes. So if you want a simple, easy way that works and is pretty much permanent if you do it right, this is the method that I use. This is the method to use. You don't have to weigh them. You don't have to measure them. You just kind of eyeball it. Do it this way. So what I'll do is I'll take squares about like that, and I'll usually start out with about 6. But since this was mostly in balance, I'm going to only use them as singles. I'll do a couple that are doubled up, but I'll use most of them as singles. Usually what worked the best is if something's really out of balance, I'll use 2 of these at a time. So when I make that cut, I'll take these and I'll put them together. But I'll do 4, because this is mostly in balance right now. We're just fine tuning. So I'll put, now the one thing to remember is that you've got to, this is a trial and error, and it's going off of what you feel. It'll go off of vibration that you feel. And if you can't feel it, you use the table as a reference, and you'll be able to see that when I'm done, because when there is no vibration, you'll hear no difference between this free floating in the air and this touching the table. It'll be identical. It won't make any noise. You won't hear any, maybe a little motor noise, but you won't hear any buzz. So, another snip. These I'm going to put together. I'll put 3 of these together. No, it's not scientific. No, it's not using acoustics and other, brainiac type stuff, but this has worked incredibly well. I've been able to balance things at the field. I balanced one of Nate's fans at the field. Balance a couple people's fans, my own fans at the field. So, and it is permanent when you do it right. I've had some fans that I balanced that are 4 or 5 years old, no issues. So, and if you want to get really scientific, you can start cutting these little pieces in half, or doing other stuff. But we're just going to do this simple. So as it is right now, this is the battery that I'm using to power the whole system. But plug it back in. And if I'm not keeping up on the chat, I'll get back to you guys. I see 31 people here. That's good. Thank you guys for checking this out. All right, so I've been going for about an hour. I don't want to go for a whole lot longer. But so this is a starting point. This is where we know it's balanced. So I'm just going to choose any spot. Oh, well, another thing I should have done, I should have cleaned the outside. The inside's where it matters the most because we're not running it up. But I'm going to find, you have all these spots, all these blades that you can use as a reference point. Once you find a spot that works good, then you start moving from in to out. So I'm going to start right where I began. So let's see, should I use a 2? I'll use a 2 to start. Let's see what it does. So right here. You can start anywhere, but I'm just starting there. Let's see what it sounds like. So that was a spot. There's buzzing. You can hear the buzzing. So let's take it. Let's move it over one. Ooh, that's sounding better. Okay, so that sounded good. So I'm going to move it forward. That doesn't sound quite as good, so now we'll move it back. It was in the middle. Let's move it back. That actually sounds quite a bit better. So let's pull it off. That's the first one. That was easy. We're getting, oh, let's try one over because that might be it too. Sometimes getting close is going to be, I'll try the one that's next to it and see if it starts going out. Yep, it started going out. So that's the spot. So we'll go back one. So I'm going to take this all off so you can hear. So this is with no weight. That's just adjusting the spinner. Hear how it's making the table buzz? All right, so now we know it was that one side. Let's put that back there. And I'm going to try not to run it up too much because it'll shoot that weight off. Let's see how there's less buzz. So I'm going to add one more. These are the singles here. It's not doubled up. I used one double. So I actually saved some time by using one double. I'm going to take another single on top of that double. So that's 3 weights total. Actually sounds a little worse. So I'm going to take that last one off. And then that's going to be the first balance point because we can't get it any better from there. Or maybe I can move a couple spots in between. Let's see if that helps. Let's move a little bit over this way in between. Let's see what happens. Nope, didn't help. All right, we're going to go back to here, back to the middle. Yeah, middle. That's the spot right here. Right there in the middle. Put that one on there again, see if that helps. Nope. All right, so that's one spot. So this is not going to be a simple balance because we've got more than one spot that's going to need weight. Because that's the best it's going to get. Or maybe we can, I don't know about that. So I've only gone 2 blades. Technically, I've still got all these other blades to do. If I really wanted to see if it would get better, I'd go through all the blades. So I know that that 2 made a difference. So I'm going to make one mark there on that blade. So that's a good reference. I already know that one was bad. So now let's skip over to this one. For sure not good. Okay. Let's go another one over. Oh, for sure no. I can feel it. I don't even need to hear it. I can feel it. Let's go over to this one. For sure no. Hear that? Okay, so let's move over again. For sure no. So if we find that the only spot that was good was the one that I had already marked, then we're going to have to put that weight underneath and start over again. Okay, so that one, I already know that this one was no good here. So let's see if it works there. Nope. All right, so this is what we're going to do. So I already know I made the mark here. That's the first blade. So this is the first spot. I'm going to make a square. This is number 1. It's number 1, okay? So that comes off. Be sure to put number 1 in this mark. Number 1 there. All right, unplug to be safe. We have our reference point, so we know how to put this back the way we pull it apart. And pull it off. I hope it's not on one of those little marks. Another little thing here is when you're unscrewing, if you want to know it's for sure done, listen for the click. Then you know it's for sure all the way out. Okay, so, okay, good. So look underneath here, you see how those little marks. I'm hoping that I don't have to put anything on there. But if you look, there's the 1, and that's where you're going to put the weight on the inside. So I've got my paper towel. I'm going to spray it with some alcohol. Find the mark on the inside. Clean it so that the tape will stick. The good thing is, since the tape's on the inside, centrifugal force will help in holding it in place, but the tape still has, it's still sticky, so you want it to mark. So you're going to take the tape, make sure that it's fitting in right where that number is. I try to get them going in the same direction. There we go. So that there. Let's do that. Let's try that again. Another way to do it. Take this. Go like that. And you know it's for sure in the right place. All right. Then you use something to push it down and hold it. Make sure it stays. Make sure it stays. Okay. And put it back the way it goes. Line everything up. And then we start this process again. Sometimes it takes a couple weights to get it right. So we're most of the way there. You know, a lot of people would just leave it right now and go fly, but you're still going to have that little bit of buzz. It's still there. It's still buzzy. So let's move it back that way a little bit. It's still buzzy. What the hell? A little bit. We're going to get this. But there we go. There we go. So that's good. The buzz is out. All right. So sometimes it takes a little repositioning there. That's no big deal. All right. So we found that one spot. Let's start out with doubles. Let's try another spot. Try next to it. Sometimes it takes the ones right next to it to get it right. That's for sure not it. For sure not it. Joe Pellegrino, I see you. What's happening? The third one. Getting better. Sometimes it's almost completely opposite, but we'll see. Sometimes it's just a little off to the side. Getting better. Still going. Let's keep going. It might be less than 2. We'll find that out here in a minute. Yeah, it might be less than 2. Okay, so we're almost back to where we started, and it might be weird if it was this one right here on the line. Nope, so I think we got to go down one. Let me make sure this is lined up. I'm going to go down to 1. Let's make sure that's lined up. Okay. So we're going to go down to 1. We're going to start in front there. That actually worked. Let's try it over here and see. Right here. That's getting better. Go back to this one and see. I'm kind of jumping around a little bit, but just because I'm in the zone. Nope. So maybe let's try that one there. It could be. Nope. Gotta jump to this one. Nope. Jump ahead. Ooh. Ooh, we're getting better. Okay, that's good. So now I'm going to go to the middle since that one sounded better. That's still a little buzzy. Maybe if I go all the way up, it'll be better. Nope. So go over one more. Start in the middle. And we found the balance point. So you see if it's a little better here in the middle, down towards the front. Yep. That's it. Okay, so this is number 2. Well, let me try one more up here. I didn't try all the way up. Let me try all the way up. Nope, I think the better spot was in the middle. We're cutting hairs at the moment because it's still really good. So you can hear it. Yep, there's no difference between in the air or on the table. So we're going to mark this spot right here. This is number 2. And that's probably going to be all that we need. So I'm going to pull this off. Put that there. Then write number 2 in that spot. So what I'll do is I'll run it up now without that weight. It already sounds pretty good. Most people would stop. But I'm going to keep going. Hear how you can hear the buzz when it's on the table. So now that we've got number 2 there, I'm just going to do it the safe way. I'm going to unplug the fan. So guys, I'm looking at the chat now. Tell me if you can actually hear and see what it is that I'm doing, if it makes any sense. Because I can hear it, I can feel it. I'm trying to push it on the table so you guys can hear the noise, but if you can hear any difference, let me know. So there's the first weight. The second one goes here. Oops, it's number 2. Number 2's right there. Let's get it cleaned out. Let's put some alcohol on there first. In there. Check the chat here and see if anybody's saying anything. So Joe Pellegrino, you're getting your full-scale private pilot's license again, huh? What's that, Barry Campbell? Uh-oh. Yes, Hangar 51. The number 1 actually had 2 pieces. I don't say how many were on there. I use number 1 as the first reference point. No matter how many pieces of tape I use, I just use that as the first reference point. So that's where I put the first weight. So number 2, only use 1 little piece of tape. And I'm going to put that one on in its spot right now. And put that right there in the middle. Right there. Yep. In its spot. Make sure it's tamped down nice and good. get it in its spot. So I got from, see there it is there. Okay, so we're good. All right. Okay, so now I need to find that reference point, line it all up. And again, sometimes you might have to do a little bit of, let's get that right. There we go. Don't cross thread it like I was just about to do. Make sure you get it right. Okay, so put that in there. On, put it tight. Okay. Guys, so here's the thing. Once you figure this out, the first time you do it, you're gonna want to bang your head up against the wall. It's not easy, but you'll start figuring out what it takes to get it right, and then you'll realize once you get to the first balance point, you'll hear it and you'll feel it, and you're like, okay, it's kind of like, I mean, I don't golf, but it's one of those things where you're always striving for perfection, and when you try, the more you try at it, the better you get at it. So it's not going to be easy the first couple times. It's going to be pretty hard, because you're not going to know what you're feeling. You're not going to know what you're looking for. So I hear a little buzz there, which means I need to open it up and reset it, because I may have not put the cone in the right spot, because it was perfectly silent. No buzz. Let's try it again. There's a little buzz. So let's get this thing repositioned again. Sometimes it takes a little bit of finagling. Move it a little that way and a little the other way to get it. Yeah, that's out. And I could have knocked everything out because there's a spacer in there that I moved a little bit. But the key thing is patience. You do need patience. Yeah, I bumped something because that's not right. Let's do this again. There, yeah, I can see it moving. Okay. There we go. Almost. Not quite. Yeah, see? It's a little, something's a little different. There's a little extra movement in there. So you're going to have to get it all tamped down. Still a little buzzy. What the hell? All right, we'll just have to make some more movement. Move that over. See if that helps. Nope, the other way. And a lot of times, sometimes you have issues with these things because this will move or the whole rotor will move. There we go. Still not perfect. What did I do? You just see, I'm going to have to get that buzz completely out. It was gone. It's gone. It's back now. So what you didn't see off camera was there's a little adapter and a little spacer in there that moved around, which wasn't moving before. So that could have been enough to throw the whole thing off, which I think it just did. But anyway, you heard what it sounded like when it was balanced with that weight on the outside. He's just being anal right now. Because it was perfect. I'm going to get it back. Anyway, that's how you do it, guys. I'm not going to get it perfect here because I don't want to go forever. But that's the gist of what you're doing. And sometimes, in a case like this, I might have to add another one to that same spot I was just on. Because once you get it in there, it's not enough. There we go. So that's what the issue is. So I will put one up a little higher and a lower. If this doesn't work, that'll be it. But yep, not there. We want to go higher. Sounds like it. Maybe 2. So I don't know how long we've been going. But I think you guys kind of get the idea, right? Hopefully you do. Let's see if 2 does it. Nope, it's 1. Or half. Let's see if that half does it. Let's cut that one in half. Let's see. Right. There. Nope. Not that. Nope. I think it's 1. I think it's going to be 1. 1 full piece. Yep, 1 full piece. All right, so we'll put another full piece on the 2. And that will still be number 2. If we've got to put another one on, I think it's in front. So full piece in the front of number 2. That was on the 2. Off. Okay. So anyway, that's, you guys get the idea. This is just one of those things that just goes on and on if you really want to get it right. But that's the basics and how I do it. Are there other ways to do it? Are there more technical ways? Can you get it out and use a prop balancer? Sure. But not always. Sometimes this actually, a lot of the times when I balance these things, they end up coming out better just by doing this as opposed to using a one of the prop balancers. RC Informer, what's up, man? How are you? I'm trying to show people how to balance fans here. So, I mean, that's the gist of it, guys. You heard what it sounded like without that thing on there. So what happened was there was a little spacer in here that got turned around. And I'm sure that's probably what threw it out. Yep, see, because it just changed. It's the spacer in there. So I need to get that spacer held in place somehow. Because it threw things off when it was moved. So Freewing, they used a spacer in there to hold it in place. Oh, there you go. Mostly there. So if I put that weight back, it'll probably be good. But then I got to disassemble it to put the weight back in. Now it's out. All right, so anyway, that's the idea. This one is going to take a little bit more, and I'm not going to take up everybody's time figuring that out. But a lot of times it's as simple as using a mark on here and then just moving that spinner. Sometimes the spinner alone is all it takes. If it's really bad and out of balance, so you can see how this thing is rubbing here. If it's really bad and out of balance, rubbing there too, really bad and out of balance, you might need to balance this to make it easier on you. And you can even balance the spinner to make it easy, but that doesn't always, oops, sorry, that doesn't always do it. So figure out what works for you, but what works for me, I will always balance with the spinner. And I've been able to get just about every fan that I've used. I can still get this one. I'm just not going to do it tonight because I don't want to take up everybody's time. Because we've already been going for an hour and a half, which is more than I wanted to. So anyway, that's the basics of how I do it. Hope it makes sense. Hope you guys can get something from it. Because a lot of times when you get fans, you'll see like on the inside here how they'll be scraped from things going out of balance and touching out there. It looks like I killed a bug. That's what it is. I killed a bug because there's bug guts in there. Yeah, I killed a bug. But you can see how it rubbed the housing a little bit. Maybe it moved. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to go back to the regular camera. So give me a second, guys. I'm going to get back over to there. Hold on. All right, y'all, I'm back. So I hope that kind of helped. That fan was being a little bit of a pain. A slightly lazy design, if I can say that. It's just an adapter that comes up underneath, or it might even be the motor shaft itself. And then the thing just kind of lazily sits on there. It's not a real fine fit. So that really wasn't the best fan to use for balance. But I mean, if you guys want to see it again some other time, I'll do it. The ones that have a metal spinner are almost always the best. The metal spinners are really good. The free wing spinners have been like that one. There's a really thick plastic, so you don't have to worry too much about them expanding. But as RC Informer was saying, a lot of those plastic spinners are bad because when you get really high RPMs, they'll expand and break. So you have to make sure that they're high quality spinners. I prefer the metal spinners that are like machine fit. Those work a lot better. Freewing has moved to those. Most of their spinners are metal now, and they fit better. So only reason why I call it subpar is just because they don't make it so that they put it together in a way where it's easy for things to shift. Um, I don't have any fans I can pull apart and show you. But I like a fan that will go back together the exact same way it came apart every time. And the way that fan is set up, it's always going to be a little off. It's always going to bounce around a little bit in the housing. So may not necessarily work. I mean, it works. And how many people are actually going to pull it apart and do what I did? Not many will. But you want a fan that will at least be able to do that. They're metal. Do I have one up here? There's a fan up there. No. This is another 9-blade plastic. That's the Outrunner. But you want something that's going to go back together exactly the same way every single time so that you don't have to worry about those slight variations that could throw things out. That's why I didn't like their individual blade fans, because once you pull them apart, everything's thrown off. You have to start all the way over again. What I would do with those was I'd have to tighten them down all the way, make sure they never moved, and then I'd actually go around with the weight, figure out where the heavy side was, and grind away on grind away on the heavy side, and then eventually it would get better. But again, it's a pain, because if you loosen that, actually I have one up there, if you loosen that, your balance is completely gone and you have to start all over again because everything's moved, everything's shifted. Those are the older chain stun fans that they used to use, that Freewing used to use. So what kind of RPM is the EDF turning? I don't know exactly. There are ways. Actually, I could look at my telemetry on my Avian. I could look at the telemetry and figure that out with my Viper fan, because they have all that accessible in the telemetry stuff. I could look that up. I don't know. I mean, you could just go off the KV, but then you also have to take into account that it's under load, so it may not be exactly what it is, but it's well over 40,000 RPM. It's somewhere between 40 and 60,000 RPM. And a balanced fan will spin faster than a fan that's out of balance. So anyway, that's it. If you guys got any other questions, now's the time. But yeah, if you guys, what I noticed is that when I was looking at my Viper, I must have hit a bug, because there's bug guts everywhere. So it must have been flying and hit a bug. Yeah, Airvex. There, I was talking about the Avian, the one that's in the Gremlin, the one that's in the Viper. You can get all of the readings off of that. I don't think I have a smart motor though. Never mind. I need a smart motor to be able to do the RPMs. But I can look and see. I think that the telemetry will show. And yes, RC Informer, I have had fan blades get destroyed because of a spinner blowing up. That happened with my F-15 a couple months ago. I heard a noise, didn't know what it was, but the spinner had come off and was bouncing around in there. So yeah, if you just want to do some basic math, 22.2 volts is what a 6S pack will be at nominal voltage, and figure out what the kV is of the motor. Multiply those two. And that's what it will be at no load. When it's loaded, it's going to spin less. But so what's that? 1950 kV. Let me do the math real quick. So for the fan that I just had, that's going to be then. This is just choosing a voltage. 22.2 volts under load. That's about what it'll do with a good battery. So you multiply that times. 50. And that equals 43,290. So under load, it's going to be a little bit less. But it also depends on the battery you're using. So if your battery is going to be stronger, because I was listening to my telemetry under load with my 65C6000 packs, I'm able to get a really high voltage under load. So I was getting 23.5 volts under load. So that's 45,825, but that's before you add in the load. But that just shows you when you have a good battery, you're going to pull more. You're going to spend more RPMs, and you can sometimes you pull more amps too because the battery is able to dump its electrical power a lot easier. Anyway, so that's that. The higher the kV, the higher the speed. So some of the smaller planes will spin higher RPMs. So I'll just use the 2200 kV as an example. So because those really don't use much. So 23.5 volts times 2200 equals 51,700. So under load, it's going to be a little less, but still, that gives you an idea. When you go smaller, the KVs get higher, and things will spin faster. Anyway, that's it. Been going for a little longer than I wanted to, but hopefully I was able to help you guys out a little bit. But I need to get going because I have to get up at 5 a.m. Actually be to work at 5:20 a.m. tomorrow. So I'm going to get going, but I appreciate you guys being here, hanging out, listening to me drone on about this stuff. Again, like I said, my whole point is to try to share some of the knowledge that I've gained over the over my whole RC experience, which is at this point over, what's up to Fred Barron, which at this point is going on 40 years of RC aviation. So I've seen a lot of stuff change. I've been through a lot. I've done a lot. The whole point in me doing my live stream is to try to share some of that knowledge with you guys and get you some questions answered and get you guys up to speed with what it is that I know. Yes, I sell burners, and I will sometimes do shows about burners, but I'm selling burners like crazy without having to go onto my show and blast them too. But if you guys got questions about those, that's great. And nor do I have affiliate links. I don't have affiliate links. I'm trying to boost. I'm not trying to get out here and sell stuff. The whole thing about this hobby is enjoying yourself and sharing knowledge. So that's what I want to do with these shows. If I'm able to help some way, I will. Selling stuff's great, but selling stuff doesn't actually do anything for the hobby. And I appreciate the way that RC Informer does that too, because he'll say, if you guys want to help, if you want to buy something and fly it. And by buying something through his link, he's not asking for anything more. Just do that. But I don't need anything extra. It's great if I get super chats. I'm not wanting them. It's great if I get PayPals. That's great. That's what's streaming down in the bottom, but I don't need them. I just want people to be able to say that stuff that I've done has helped them fly better or help them do something better in the hobby. I want this hobby to keep going. I don't want it to get blown away by people trying to sell stuff. It's not about that. It's about getting into the hobby and enjoying yourself. All these prices are going up. Everything's costing more. So try to save money. Try to figure out ways to do things that don't break the bank. So anyway, that's enough of my mini rant. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and all those other things. But most of all, enjoy yourselves in this hobby and let it be a stress relief for you. Keep things sane, keep things light and happy. Um, that's it. So I got to fly twice this weekend, which was great. Helped with my nerves. Gonna get back to it. Um, Hopefully, I get to fly a couple times this week, and maybe a couple times over the weekend. Went crazy on fiery booties today. Shipping out, I shipped something to Croatia, something to the UK, and some other stuff here. Some other stuff here in the States. So fire booties are still doing good, and I appreciate everybody who's been supporting me from that. But again, I'm here to help. So even if I don't, even if I'm selling someone else's product, I'm willing to help. If it's not my stuff and my stuff doesn't suit you, and I have to sell you something else, I don't care. If I have to have you go somewhere to get something else, I'll do that. Like, for example, I don't sell things for exposed outrunners, but I know people that do. So, and I won't make them because I don't want to have to deal with that extra liability. But there are people that do. So I'm here to help, even if that's not selling you my stuff. So anyway, enough of that. I did enjoy doing that simulator stuff, so we might get back to that. Might have a show